Yeah. When it can do with different devices.
Can't compete with that.
All right, I think about 3 minutes after, we're gonna get started here. So Kris is gonna walk you through how he's making the tacos tonight.
Okay, I got my pen and pencil right here.
Oh boy.
I mean, my pen and paper. Okay.
It's not really that complicated.
Okay.
We're going to walk through how to make, we're going to make
Yeah.
guacamole fresh here. You've already got guacamole made for you. We're going to make pico de gallo, but you already have pico de gallo and your kit's already made. We just want to kind of show you, do a quick demo of what that looks like, just to add a little more content. So this isn't just me holding a tortilla and go, okay, first the meat, then the salsa. I want this to be something a little bit more than that. And frankly, I want to look at your smiling faces for a little bit longer than that. So we're going to go through and we're going to get this done. So first off, let me say thank you for participating in this. This is the future. If this pandemic thing doesn't clear up as quickly as we'd like,
Somebody else?
Can we mute everybody for just a second?
Yes.
Awesome. We're going to mute you guys for a second. Don't be alarmed. Okay? So, if this, you should be able to hit mute all, right?
All right, there you go.
All right, cool. So, so this is the future. What we have is we have an issue where we all can't be in the same room together. But we're not going to let that stop us from being creative, from being educational, from being interactive. It's important that we continue to persevere through these times. So, and they are, and you hear it, I hear it all the time. It seems like every channel that I tune into, I hear something that they say, these unsure times. Well, the reality is that they're only as unsure as we allow them to be. If we continue to be social creatures, that's what we're made for. We're made to be in fellowship with each other. That's just how people work. So as long as we continue to persevere towards that, as long as we do things together, even if it is through this technology, we're going to come out of this just fine. We need to stay together. We need to be together. We need to be separate, but we need to do that as a group. So we're going to have more like this, and we're hoping that we can have something like this on a regular basis. We're still trying to see what that looks like as far as scheduling, as far as availability. You know, in the off season, we have a lot of people, staff members that go on vacation. Like right now, Chef Steve is on vacation. In 2 weeks, Chef Mitch will be on vacation. So we're piecing together what that availability looks like. But we're going to have consistent offerings for you to enjoy in this manner. So we're really, really excited about it going forward. Just also some stuff to put on your radar. We're going to have a car hop pop-up coming up, or a drive-up pop-up. We're still working on the verbiage for what that sounds like. It's going to be a really cool thing where we're going to have some stuff set up in the porta cochere in front of the club, a little bit of entertainment. You guys are going to come through, we'll pick some stuff up, and then we're going to have you kind of tailgate, so we can all tailgate together. Again, respecting the social distancing, but we're going to get to a point where we're still doing things together. We're going to wait for the restrictions to ease a little bit before we really, really get into that. But that's definitely something on our radar. So we've got a lot of exciting offerings that we're going to be presenting very soon, even without the ability to come into the clubhouse all the time. So stay tuned for that. If you guys have any questions, everybody's got my email. Everybody's got Brianna's email. You guys can call us up. We're here all the time. So again, stay tuned for that. So we're going to get started. Your taco kits come with 3 soft taco shells, 3 hard taco shells. You've got 4 ounces of pico de gallo. You've got 4 ounces of a salsa roja, it's called. Sour cream, cheese, lettuce, and you've got your meat. I said pico, and you got guacamole. Okay? So that should all be inclusive in your kit. I'm going to walk through how to make the pico de gallo, and then we're going to go right into the guacamole, just so you guys have an idea of how it's made. Maybe you want to replicate this on your own later on down the line. But, and again, if you need recipes, I'll be happy to email anybody any recipes that they want. So anyway, here we go. And is there a raise hand option because I do want this to be interactive, but I'm worried about people's feedback on their systems and being able to hear me.
So clap, thumbs up.
So there should be an option on your,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay. So if you want to be unmuted, if you have a question,
They can unmute themselves.
you can unmute yourselves. If you have a difficulty with that, wave your hand frantically. I'm looking at all of you, and we'll get your question in, okay? So we're going to start with the pico de gallo. Step over here to my handy dandy mise en place section. We got a bowl. So we have one beefsteak tomato. We have jalapenos, okay? Whole, raw jalapenos. We've got red onion, okay? And this might be a little challenging. I know I'm kind of tiny on your screens, but I'm going to try and verbalize as best I can. Also got lime, and we've got cilantro. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to quarter our beefsteak tomato, okay? And the first cut we're going to make, we're going to go right down the edge, almost like we were trying to segment a piece of citrus, where we were trying to take the rind off and leave the segments whole. And we come right around, so you get something like that, okay? I'll try and hold it up so you guys can see better. I don't know, I'm trying to show you, okay? And that's going to take out the stem as well as all the seeds and all the stuff inside. You want just the outside of the tomato for your pico de gallo. I mean, again, and let me state this: there's no rules to cooking. None of this is set in stone. If you want seeds in your pico de gallo, put seeds in your pico de gallo. If you want to chop it up in a blender, chop it up in a blender. None of this is set in stone. There's no right or wrong way to make a pico de gallo. You let your creativity run wild. That's the beauty of food. Food is a science and an art at the same time. So let your freak flag fly. You know what I mean? Make it your way. Maybe your way will be better than my way. And that's perfectly all right. So we're going to go ahead and just continue cutting out the middle of the tomato. And we really, at some point, we're going to invest in a demo camera for up there so you guys can see. And then what I like to do is I just kind of thin out the fillet a little bit. So I take all the seeds all the way out. I'm stuck with a nice thin piece like that. Okay. This is the quietest room I've ever done a demo in. This is crazy. There's literally no one here right now. It's me standing in front of a laptop. This is so unprecedented in my career. This is crazy. So you've got your tomato fillets. You're now going to cut strips down the length of the tomato, okay? Probably about a ½ inch wide. So you get a fat julienne like that, okay? And then I just dice them up again, about a ½ inch, okay? And it's really important to make sure that the pieces are uniform, at least for me, especially when I'm presenting. That way I get equal coverage over whether it's the taco, whether it's the tortilla, whether it's the chip, whether it's any manner of Mexican cuisine that you're going to be putting your pico de gallo on. I also think it makes for a better presentation. Just because like people get impressed by that. If you do pico de gallo and people are looking at it, oh wow, he really can cut. Well, yes, I've been doing this since high school. It's nothing I can help. At this point, you know, I have to be good at cutting something. I've been doing this for 20-something years. So we take all of our diced tomatoes right into the bowl. Okay. Next is our red onion. And the first thing we do with the red onion is we go crosswise. Red onions are round. I cut it in half. Okay. So I've got half of a red onion. And I'm going to go at it like that first. Okay. But in order to do that without slicing off my digits, I hold it down. Fingers up, palm pressing firmly onto the top of the red onion. And then I make, again, ½ inch incisions, not cutting all the way through the onion, but enough to leave it connected in the back, but getting the majority of the rings cut into a ½ inch length. And then I come down top to bottom. and cut those slices I just made. So you're basically making a grid throughout the onion. And that's going to be helped by the layers of the onion. So you don't have to go through and do all the little choppy stuff. You've got your grid, and now you can just come, and I hope I'm doing this well, but come straight down and you get your dice. Okay? And so now you have equally diced, delicious red onion we're going to put into our pico. And I'm actually not going to put the whole half an onion. I'm only going to put maybe, I would say probably a 2-to-1 ratio of onion to tomato to onion, because you want your pico, the tomato is going to absorb all of the flavors that you're adding to it. Tomato is a very, it absorbs flavor really well. So whatever you add to your pico is going to get carried into the tomato, okay? We've got our jalapeno here. I'm going in halves and then quarters again. Some regions do their pico de gallo with the seeds in the middle. I'm not a big fan of seeds in my pico de gallo. I like a very clean pico. So I'm going to go through and just remove the membrane and the seed from the middle of the jalapeno, okay? And then I'm going to go with a smaller dice. I was doing a 1/2-inch dice for the tomato and the red onion, but with the jalapeno, I'm going to go with a julienne. So it's a very thin slice lengthwise on the quarter of the jalapeno pepper. And then I'm going to rotate it, and I'm just going to chop it up kind of small, because I don't want big bites of heat. I want just that essence of heat across the whole pico de gallo, okay? And generally, that's a good rule of thumb throughout all your cooking. With strong flavors, such as your hot peppers. I'm a chili head, so I go nuts with the hot peppers anyway. I love hot sauce. I used to work up a Colonial Country Club, and the chef there actually grows super hot peppers behind the propane tank. So a rite of passage for me going into that kitchen was, all right, welcome to the team. Here's your 7-pot brown chili pepper. You have to eat the whole thing, stem and all. Yeah. Let me tell you, it was 45 minutes of hard breathing and sweating. It was wild, but nonetheless, somewhat enjoyable. There's a high that you get if you eat those super hots. I know Mr. Crandall's looking at me. I see you. There's a high you get when you eat those super hots from the endorphin rush, and it's I mean, really, really good. You don't feel a lot of pain. You got a really good, happy kind of feeling to you. It's a good time, and 100% legal from what I understand. So, however, I would recommend that you not grab any pepper sprays and start spraying them in your face. And, oh, look, I'm high. You'll be crying. Exactly. Yes, I see. So that's my quick overview on super hot peppers. Again, I'm a chili head. I'm actually working with a local company trying to get a Spring Run branded hot sauce that we can sell right here. It's something you won't be able to get anywhere else. We're going to sell it right here at the clubhouse, and you'll be able to take it home and enjoy it. Maybe even take it home if you don't live here year round. Maybe you take it home, take a little taste of Spring Run back home with you. So I think that'll be a real good thing. So we have a lime. This is called a microplane. You can pick this up, Williams-Sonoma. They sometimes have it at Whole Foods. Your higher end gourmet places. I don't know if I've ever seen this at a Publix, but chances are good it's probably being kept somewhere behind where they do the demos. You know what I'm talking about? When you walk in and they've got the nice lady there with the hairnet on, and they're making, you know, beef bourguignon with stuff that they have around the corner. On the other side of that end cap, you'll probably find yourself one of these. This is a fine grater. So there's a very small grate. I'm going to take this lime, and I'm actually going to run it across. I'm going to run my microplane across the skin of the lime. We're calling this zesting. Okay. And what this does is the zest has a very intense citrus flavor, the oils that are stored there. And once we grate it like this, okay, Mr. Crandall has a question. No, you don't have a question? Okay, all right. Sorry. So yes, questions? No, everybody good? I can't. You need to put him on. He's talking, and I need to hear what he has to say. It's critical.
Hold on.
Talk to me. What do you say?
When I bought cilantro in the store, it
Yeah.
seemed to have sand in it. So I had to wash it out pretty thoroughly when I added cilantro. Have you ever found
Cilantro
that?
had seeds in it?
Sand.
Oh, sand, yes. And we'll get there. When I get to the cilantro, absolutely, that's good. That's really good information. Thank you, Mr. Crandall. Yeah, I would recommend washing all of your produce consistently, guys. It's so important. You don't know, especially in these uncertain times. I can't believe I just let that come out of my mouth. In these uncertain times, you don't know who's been touching produce you're bringing home. You don't know who's been coughing or sneezing or breathing. And I don't want to put anybody in sort of a panic alert, but an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Amen? Y'all get what I'm saying? So please just be very careful when you're selecting produce. Make sure when you get it home, you're washing it even before you put it in your fridge. So now we get to the cilantro part. Usually this comes in a bunch. I went ahead and picked this. I usually like a little stems in my pico de gallo because that's where the intensity of the flavor is. In cilantro, you're going to find more flavor in the stem of the cilantro than the actual leaf, but the stem does get a little bit chewy. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a texture, something that's not that texture challenging, then you go with just the leaf. So that's what we have here. Just some picked leaves of cilantro. We're going to go ahead and chop those up real quick. Again, mind your fingers. It's always best to use the crab in the shell technique. All right, otherwise you're not dialing a phone anytime soon. Trust me. And as you're holding it, you give it a little choppy chop, right? These Magoto tables are surprisingly sturdy for chopping. Not bad. Not bad. And you just keep going until it's the size that you like. I go with a mince, all right, where it's almost like it's a little bit less fine than a powder, but it's not big oppressive chunks, so you're not going to get big flavors of cilantro in one bite. Again, the key here is consistency and thorough mixing of all the flavors. You're not looking for one flavor to overpower another. It's about that dance that they do together. So you've got your lime, your tomato, your red onion, and your cilantro all in your bowl, okay? We're going to take the lime that we zested. I'm actually going to roll it and kind of milk it a little bit for the juice. Give it a little bit of that, okay? And what that does is that breaks up the juice droplets in there, the little segments that they have in citrus. And that causes it to be a little bit juicier. It's also a lot easier to, hey, no seeds. It's also a lot easier to squeeze. So you don't have any seeds in here. Now, if this was seeded, like say you want to put a little bit of lemon or a little bit of blood orange or a little bit of grapefruit in your pico de gallo, if you're looking for that kind of flavor, take your hand and squeeze the juice through your fingers. Your fingers are going to catch all of those seeds while letting the juice flow through to your pico de gallo, okay? So we got a little bit, good bit of lime juice in there. I'm going to I have a little bit of blended oil. So you can use any oil you want. I would recommend staying away from the olive oil just because it's such a strong flavor, okay? So something like a grapeseed oil, something like a safflower, sunflower, corn, flax oil work really well for this, okay? I give it just a touch because I want to give it a little gloss and I want something for the salt and pepper to stick to besides the juice. So we've got regular kosher salt here, okay? Gonna give it a little drizzle of that. I've got toasted black and red peppercorns here, ground fine. I'm gonna give just a pinch, okay? Because again, you got that jalapeno in there. That's a different pepper flavor than the peppercorns, but you don't want that heat and the heat from the jalapenos to turn it into a mosh pit in your mouth. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna take it. We're just gonna blend it, okay? Did I miss anything? Tomato, onion, jalapeno, cilantro, lime juice, lime zest. No, I'm there. Hey, good news. All right, and I'm gonna bring this around. And we'll get a little close up here. I'll try not to dump it on Brianna's laptop. But there's your pico de gallo, okay? You see you got it kind of evenly mixed. The jalapenos are a little bit smaller than everything else. I know this is kind of awkward, but there's your pico, okay? So we got that. And again, let it sit before you eat it. Adjust for your seasonings, okay? Because you might like yours a little bit saltier, or you might like yours a little more lime. But remember, once you put something in, you can't take it out. Will you unmute, Mr. Go ahead, Jerry.
What's the question? What's the difference between salsa and pico
Salsa is a little bit more cooked and it's a little bit more soupy. So if you go to Publix and you get yourself a jar of salsa from Pace or Old El Paso, it's going to have this really tomatoey kind of juice surrounding it, keeping it moist. You're also going to find that your peppers are cooked a little bit. Your tomatoes are cooked a little bit. That's salsa. With pico, everything is very fresh. There's not a lot of juice to it. There's definitely not a lot of tomato juice kind of holding it all together. It's not like a chunky tomato soup. It's more of a salsa. So it's a more fresh product, whereas the salsa is a little bit cooked down, a little bit juicier. Okay? Thank you. Great question, by the way. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So that's our pico. We're going to do our guacamole next. Okay? And for that, we need we've got avocados, okay? We've got jalapeno again, which I'm not even going to bother doing that. We've got garlic, more cilantro, and salt and pepper, okay? So we start by taking our avocado. This is how I open an avocado. If you're a little bit nervous, that's fine. You keep it down here. But I've been playing with knives my whole life. So this is how I do it. And you go in right at the stem and push lightly until you break through the skin. But then there's a pod, there's a pit right there. It's about the size of a golf ball. You guys know a golf ball? You've seen a golf ball before? You guys are familiar with golf balls. It's about the size of a golf ball. You take your knife and you just rotate the avocado around the knife. Hold both halves firmly, rotate slightly, and it comes right off, okay? How many of you knew that? Show of hands. Yes. Awesome. Gosh. I love an educated membership. This is great. I love this. So you take your pot out, your pit out, just hit it with your knife lightly. Don't swing at it like it's the bottom of the knife and you got a runner on third. You don't have to hit it that hard. Just give it a little whack. It'll stick to your knife. You pop it right out. A little twist and pull, you're good to go. Okay? And then hold it in the palm of your hand, give it a little grip, and then take your knife and lightly run it through the avocado flesh, but don't pierce the skin on the back side, okay? So you're actually slicing this right in the skin. And then you rotate it 90 degrees, you do the same thing again. Again, you're making a grid in the avocado, okay? So I'll bring it around so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, y'all see what I did there? Yeah, so that's what you're looking for, okay? And then scrape it out. I usually come all the way around the skin like that and kind of scoop out the whole thing like that. Drop that right into our bowl. And you know what? Heck with it, I'm gonna do both. Let's just take a second. Okay, little scrapey scrape again. Brianna, can I ask you to go get me a fork from the kitchen? I seem to have forgotten. Thank you, dear. Okay. The largest one you could find would be great. Excellent. Again, good question. Thanks for coming today. And so the next ingredient for our guacamole is going to be jalapeno. Okay. So this we really want to mix because it's going to be super tiny mixed up in there. We really want to make sure that it doesn't overpower the avocado. Again, avocado is like tomato in that it will take on the flavor really well and very consistently of what you're putting into it. So again, I'm going to almost shave this avocado. We're going very thin with it, very thin. Okay? And I'll bring it around so you can see. Thank you, Sunshine. That thin. That's what we're going for. Okay? And we're going to take that and dice that. Yes, that's as thin as we want it. Okay? Take this. And again, very thin chopping motion. You want to almost give little shavings of jalapeno off onto the board with your knife. Okay? you go. Now I'm a pepperhead, so I added a little extra. Garlic clove, okay? And again, your microplane. If you don't have a microplane in your kitchen, it's a very versatile piece of equipment. I'm a believer in it. Anything that I want to do really small and really evenly throughout my dish, I run through my microplane, okay? So we're taking our microplane and we're actually just gonna grate the whole garlic clove right on the microplane like this, okay? And you can see we got kind of garlic mush falling from the backside. That's good. We want that. It's almost like a garlic puree. Okay. Once you get to the nubbin, you're not going to be able to use the nubbin. So if you want to chop that up and put it in there, that's fine. I'm not going to miss it. So there's your garlic. We're going to take a little more cilantro, chop it up. I like a good strong cilantro flavor to my my avocado, especially if I'm drinking light beer. And I find that it really accentuates everything. Now, if you're drinking dark beer with this, forget it. You're not going to taste it. It's all going to get lost in the palate. So give it a little chop. I'm going to chop it a little bit rougher, which means larger than I did for the pico de gallo, because I want the avocado and the cilantro to kind of have equal play in my mouth at the same time when I put it on my chip or my taco or my nachos. That's just about it. Okay, so that goes into the bowl. And then finally, lime juice. I'm not going to put any zest in here because I don't want lime to stick up that much. I do want a little citrus zip in there, but I'm not looking for that lime, that citrus heavy flavor to accentuate the onions and the tomatoes like I did in the pico. I want, again, the garlic, the cilantro, the avocado to stand out more. This is more just a way to keep it from turning brown for a very long time, okay? And so we're going to go ahead and just squeeze that in there. Again, half a lime for one avocado should be sufficient for what we're doing. Okay. And then I give it a little oil, just a splash, just a touch. Okay. Whoop, almost lost the whole thing of it. A little salt, a little black pepper to your own taste. Again, I'm not even putting a lot of black pepper in here. I'm just doing it sort of like as a hallmark, because you put salt, you might as well put black pepper also. And then you take your pork and just kind of mash until it all blends well. I'll bring it around so you guys can see. Okay, as you're mashing, you're stirring, you're incorporating, you're throwing it on the table. Good Lord. Sorry, you guys. But so that's the start of it. You can mash that until it's as smooth as you like. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm not going to go that nuts with it. You guys will notice in your kits your guacamole is very smooth. Okay, that's because we did that in a machine called a RoboCoupe. Now it's a food processor basically. For those of you that are familiar, Cuisinart's put out a good one. But professionally, RoboCoupe is the standard, and that's what we ran it through so that we could get a good mixture and still, you know, not spend a lot of time on it. So good guacamole is labor intensive. Obviously, we want to put out good guacamole, the freshest ingredients we can, but sometimes it's easier to just put it through the food processor and use the tools that are available to us. So I got a pretty good mash on this now. Okay. And again, real quick, here's your finish. Nice mush. Well blended, little chunky. I mean, the smell coming off it is incredible. All right, so that's it. Those are our side items. Let's build some tacos. Yeah, you guys ready to eat some tacos? Let's go. Just give me a second to clean up, and I'll put all this together, and we can go from there. Actually, there we go. love these Maduro potatoes. These are awesome, especially as we demos on. Okay. All right. So. Got little taco holders over here. They're actually upside down. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And we've got, I got a little skillet over here for my flour tortillas, okay? So flour tortillas, these are your soft shell tacos. I'm gonna give them a little toast just to warm them up so they're a little pliable. If you start making your tacos while they're cold, the middle of it sometimes splits, and when you go in for that first bite, you're wearing it. Not that you'd be able to tell on Mr. Crandall's shirt, but everybody else's shirt, you'd ruin it. So I love that you guys have a sense of humor. That's awesome. Thank you. So we're just gonna give them a little, business in the hot saute pan. When we do these tacos in the back, we have a huge flat griddle that we use. We put down just a little bit of oil, kind of smooth it out with a paintbrush, and then we drop these on there. Like when we're making our bacon and chicken quesadillas or any of the quesadillas that you guys enjoy here, we start our quesadillas on the flat top with a little bit of butter. It helps them toast up a little bit, helps that tortilla get soft so we can fold it. It also helps the cheese melt a little bit. So we're gonna give it a little, that one's good. And you can see it's a lot more pliable now that it's warm. Give it a little bit. It's critical to stay hydrated during these demos. I'm glad you guys are digging it. Okay. And if it gets a little toasty on the bottom like this one, don't worry about it. It's all going, it's not going to disrupt the flavor. It's actually going to give it a little bit more of a toasty flavor, a little bit more caramelization to it. So you might even enjoy that. You could also do these on the grill. You guys have the grill outside and you want to just drop these, you get your grill hot and then drop these on there for about 10, 15 seconds. It'll warm them up, give them a little grill. They'll get a little bit of a smoky flavor. Again, flavor, any flavor you can add is always good. Okay, we're gonna now go in with our meat, so that's nice and warm. And if you guys are doing that at home, I would encourage you to do the same thing now. If you want to put it in your microwave and just let it kind of come up a little bit, that's fine. Gonna give it a little toasty toast. Make sure it's nice and warm. There we go. Kill that. And so now, the rule of thumb is this, is you always put the wet ingredients down first and then build till you get to the top, and then you put wet ingredients on top of that. So you've got your taco, dry, well no, wet, and then dry, and then wet again. So you'll see what I mean. Of course, at the same time, it's your taco. If you want to put salsa first, put salsa first. No one's going to yell at you, I promise, okay? But for the purposes of this demonstration, we're starting with our, we got our beef mixture, and the beef was seasoned with chili powder, cumin, powdered garlic, powdered onion, there's a little bit of red pepper and tomato in there, okay? And that's going down first. Now you guys have about 6 to 8 ounces of taco meat for your six tacos. Again, I would encourage you to try and spread it out between all of the tacos first so that you have enough to ensure maximum coverage for all of your shells. But we're going right in. I'm not a big hard taco fan just because I feel like that first bite, it cracks down the middle and then you've got yourself a tortilla sandwich. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. So I'm always, every time I go anywhere, which Tijuana Flats, tacos and tequila, I'm a soft shell taco guy all the way around, okay? So we actually got pretty good coverage with that 6 ounces right there. I'm actually pleased with that, okay? So you got your beef down first. And then we're gonna come in with our cheese. I'll bring this over to you guys so you can see. Here's our cheese blend, the same cheese blend that you guys got in your kits. This is a blend of mild yellow cheddar, and Chihuahua cheese. And Chihuahua cheese actually comes from the Chihuahua region of Mexico. Same place the dogs come from. That's why it's, you laugh, but I'm telling you, there's a whole bunch of Chihuahuas in Chihuahua. You know, people don't know. It's the same thing with the cheese. They make the cheese in Chihuahua. It's Chihuahua cheese. Cheers to you, sir. Yes. So that's how that works. So we come with the cheese and we put that on our hot meat. Why? Because the cheese is going to melt. Okay. Also gives a little bit of a barrier. Once that cheese melts, it'll hold some liquid above the tortilla, because you want maximum dryness throughout the entire eating process. Otherwise, you get it on your shirt. Okay, a little cheese on your tacos. Okay. Next, this is just sliced, chiffonaded iceberg lettuce. Okay, that goes right on top there. It gives crunch. It gives a little bit of sweetness. It gives a little bit of texture to your tacos. Kind of makes them healthy. For those of you that want to pretend that tacos are healthy, just tell them, iceberg lettuce, it's healthy. It's a salad at that point. Look at how good I'm eating. Okay. So you got your lettuce in there. Okay. Okay, so, and it's your option. We've supplied both the salsa roja and the pico de gallo. The pico de gallo is a little bit more mild. Yes, I mean, if you want to put it on a chip, put it on a chip. Oh, you're already eating tacos. That's awesome. So, you can put your pico on there. You can put your salsa roja on there. The salsa roja does have more heat to it. It's a spicier sauce. It's more like a traditional Mexican soul food hot sauce that they make. We take the tomatoes and the jalapenos and a little bit of onion, and we roast it in the oven so that it breaks down, and then we run it through the food processor so it's smooth. It's like a fresh hot sauce. It's really good. But we're gonna go with we're gonna do the pico de gallo on the soft. We're gonna go with our salsa roja on the hard shell tacos. Okay, so give a little bit of that. Man, that's good. And imagine a world we live in, right, where we have the Cinco de Mayo on a Taco Tuesday, when we're all in a house suffering from a virus named after a Mexican beer. I mean, imagine the odds. What a world. What a world we live in. I'm going to put a little bit more on there. Okay? And then I'm going to put the salsa roja on the hard shell tacos, and that's just one little line right across. A little goes a long way with the salsa roja, and you're going to see what I mean, because it's spicy. It's got a little bit of tomato kick to it. So again, it's easier to put on than it is to take off. Okay, so there's our salsa roja. The next two ingredients that we have kind of play against the heat that's intrinsic in the Mexican cuisine. So what it is, and you're going to hear that when you eat a hot pepper, oh yeah, just put milk or sour cream or ice cream, or those are all myths. It doesn't work. The only thing that's going to work for getting that heat out of your mouth is time. When those oils have already touched your tongue and those taste buds, they're on fire for as long as you're going to have it there. But once those oils dissipate, the only thing that's going to cause that to happen is time. And that's when you start feeling the burn go away. Trust me. When it comes to those super hots, when you've got a burn in your mouth that's like making you cry for 45 minutes, you pray for that clock to move faster. Because you could slather all kinds of stuff on there, and it wouldn't do any good, I promise. Okay? So we're going to put a little bit of our fresh guacamole. I'm a guacamole fan, so I'm going to kind of paint it on with my fork on all of the tacos. I would encourage you to do the same. Avocados have such good healthy fats. They're good. They got omegas in them. They've got it's the healthy part, healthy fat part that's good for heart health. Avocados are a big part of paleo diets, keto diets. I know I try to eat at least one avocado a day. And I'm even going to put some on the salsa roja. Why? Because I'm living dangerously. It's Cinco de Mayo, man. We're doing it like they do it in the TJ in Tijuana. We're just going to fill these tacos up with that. And finally, we've got sour cream that came in your kits. We're going to go ahead and just put a little dollop in the middle of each one. Again, a great place for your hot sauce to go, or the Spring Run branded hot sauce that'll be rolling out here sooner rather than later. Good place to put that in your future taco parties. Okay? And I think that's everything. I'm feeling confident. Let's drink. Yes. So, the final product. Here's your soft shells. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. And then there's your hard shells. See the salsa roja in there? Yes, there you go. Beautiful. So that's it. Let's get everybody unmuted, and we'll open the floor to questions. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Everybody's unmuted, except for the Crandalls who have their own on mute. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Questions, comments, feedback?
Yes, thank you.
Good
My
job.
pleasure. Mrs. Lennox, you had something?
Where are the margaritas?
The margaritas are behind me.
Great job.
Thank you so much. No, we have
Boulevard.
we have our what is it? We did a margarita today, right? For our drink of the day, we have drink specials that we're happy to deliver to your house. So
Sounds good, Christopher.
Yep.
Thank you.
Chris, and
no problem, you guys.
one-
We have
one
we have
note.
sangrias, we have margaritas to accent your tacos. So feel free to call in. We'll drive them over. Okay.
Yeah, I have a
You-
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Betty Lennox. I wanted to ask you if you could use avocado oil instead of grapeseed oil to soften your shells.
Absolutely, you can. I think that's a great idea. I love working with avocado oil. That's I don't think that has a lot of crazy flavor. The only, like I said, the only oil that I really wouldn't use is the olive oil, just because it has such a profound flavor. It might offset all your other ingredients, but avocado is very neutral, and it kind of stays in with the whole theme, especially if you have guacamole on your tacos. So yes, I would encourage you to use that.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Uh,
Yes, Mrs. Crandall.
What did you ask?
Difference between the pico de gallo and the salsa roja again?
The salsa roja is actually like a traditional home style hot sauce that they use in Mexican cuisine. They roast their tomatoes, their peppers, their onions, and then they blend them all together. So it's like a fresh hot sauce that they make. Whereas the pico de gallo is more of like a chopped, almost like a salad, in that it's got like a little lime dressing with some jalapenos in it, some onions, and some tomatoes. So it's almost like a diced tomato salad. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And then the salsa that you buy on the shelves, if that's your thing, do that. That's fine. Eh. Any other questions from anybody?
Yes, Chris.
Yes.
Or he can-
Are you familiar with my Linda's? Yeah, let me get down a little lower even. Are you familiar with my Linda's hot sauce? And have you been working with them?
I am familiar with them. Oh, that's not the company we're working with. We're actually working with Sunset Spice out of Bonita Springs. They're working with us on getting our own Spring Run hot sauce carried here at the Galt Shop and here in the clubhouse. The house hot sauce we use right now is called Bulliards out of New Orleans, and I think it's an excellent product. I've been working with it for years. It's like a Tabasco, but it has more flavor depth than just hot for the sake of hot. You know what I mean? It's,
Yes.
You can taste the pepper, you can taste the garlic, you can taste the onion, and so that's what we use here at the clubhouse. I really enjoy it. We make our buffalo sauce with that as well.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody
I'm
else?
coming to mine right now.
I'm
I gotta
sorry?
get my kit.
Okay.
Oh,
Kathy?
Nice job.
Thank you, guys.
Nice
Okay.
job, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'm going to turn it over to Brianna, who's going to say goodbye. Thank you guys
Okay.
so much for coming to the demo. Thank you for buying our food. Thank
We
you
missed
for
you.
participating in what we've been doing through this whole thing. You guys are the greatest members I've ever worked for, and I really appreciate all of you being engaged in what we're doing. We can't wait to have you back at the clubhouse. On a personal note, I can't wait to see all you guys at your tables.
Well,
Okay?
thank you. Thank
So
you.
you guys
Chris.
stay well. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
happy Cinco de Mayo to you
Here's
too.
Brianna.
I just
Hasta la
wanted to pop
vista.
back in and say thank you.
Hola,
We
Brianna.
appreciate all the support, and I miss all of you so much.
How's the baby?
I miss you.
A chunky little man, and he won't stop growing, but he loves swimming, so that's
Oh,
something.
fun. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah,
Yes,
cute. I
me
know a lot of
too.
people are on my Facebook looking at him, so
Oh,
Staying
I'll
up to
get
date.
him on Facebook. Okay.
he's
All right.
Well,
cute as
thank
can
you.
be. Thank you
Thanks,
for joining
Brianna.
us.
This was good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna.
Do you want me to leave
love
this
her
up
cat.
so you guys can talk, or do you want me to just shut it down?
Good.
We're gonna eat.
Yeah.
Good? All right, enjoy your tacos.